I just feel like they failed me, you know, as an employee, as a woman, as a human being. They've denied me of my basic human rights, which is to go to work and be safe.
It's likely you'll recognise Hannah Rowlands. She was the Qantas poster girl, appearing in dozens of ads, as well as the safety video that plays as the plane takes off. Hannah was also a committed staff member for the airline for more than 6 years.
From a young age, you always wanted to do one thing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a flight attendant. I think it's a lot of girls' dreams.
How proud did you feel to not just work for Qantas, but to be one of the faces of this international airline?
Yeah, I was really proud. I would walk through the terminal and see my face on the banners, or when I was on the safety demo and I would have to do the safety demo in front of myself on the screen next to me, and everyone would be like, oh my God, this is crazy.
She got the job and she was so excited, you know, which we all were. Once she got it, she just loved it, and it just seemed to suit her to a T. She followed her dream and she really done what she wanted to do.
But in May 2015, when Hannah had a run-in with her onboard manager, it was a sign of things to come.
He was renowned for harassing girls physically, saying sexually inappropriate things, and that's just, I don't put up with it. Where I come from, men don't do that. He blew on my neck. We were coming back from Perth and he blew on my neck. And I just remember slapping his hand and I said, can you not touch me? Not now, not ever. Don't touch me.
After putting him firmly in his place, Hannah put the incident out of her mind. That was until the following week, when they accidentally bumped into each other mid-flight.
He goes, oh, I backed into you in the cabin, sorry. I'm like, oh, it's all right, whatever. And he goes, oh, for a little girl, you've got a tight ass. And he just started slapping me on my backside. And I always thought if something ever like that happened to me, it would be an instant reaction. And I couldn't move. I was like frozen or something. I don't know what had happened. And then he walked off and I just burst into tears.
Can you just describe the sort of the physical part of what happened?
I was facing front ways and he was sort of like side on to behind, and he just started slapping me so hard. It was a lot of times. Like, you know, when you're young and your brother slaps you or something like that and it stings you afterwards, that's what it was like. That's how hard it was. I fully shut down. I wanted to say so many things and do so many things, but it's like I couldn't do it.
I could tell she was upset. After the anger, it was just disappointing that we feel like we've sent her to a place where she would be safe and be looked after and treat her the way she treated the company, but it wasn't like that at all.
Hannah decided to make a formal complaint about the incident to Qantas management.
You wanted Qantas to ensure that you weren't put on shifts with this man.
Yeah, that was the only thing I wanted. So I didn't ask for him to be fired. I didn't ask for a demotion. I just said, look, I appreciate that there's some things that can be done and some things that can't, but I need you to tell me that I'm not going to fly with him again. So they said, oh, we can do that for a certain amount of time, but within that 6-month period, I reckon I got 7 or 8 duties with him.
So you had to keep flying with the same man?
Well, I didn't. I tried to swap. I tried to ring, right? And I just wouldn't go. I just had to go sick. But I lose my money. And then it looks bad on my sick leave. And I'm like, you're failing me at every turn.
Qantas says that while it was impossible for them to guarantee Hannah wouldn't be rostered with the accused, she wasn't compelled to work with him. But the truth is, Hannah was a casual worker, so each time she called in sick, she wasn't paid.
What we see time and time again is in industries such as hospitality, retail and the airline industry, where people are casual employees, is that they're exploited. So for Qantas to say that they offered her a solution and didn't force her to do something is just not acceptable.
2.5 months later, Hannah sent this email.
I would first like to say how disappointed I am that I have had no contact from any level of management. I feel it is the responsibility of the company to ensure that I did not have to fly with this individual, as my emotional state would inhibit my ability to operate efficiently. My favourite part was when they turned to me and they said, Hannah, you're being very difficult. You're really going to disrupt the network.
That's what Qantas said to you?
Yeah. At that point, I was just like, I just don't know what to do now. Who do I go to now?
Well, I had it in my mind that he would just either be sacked or at minimum moved on to another area or something, but none of this seemed to happen.
What Qantas did offer Hannah was telephone counselling and face-to-face mediation with the man who'd harassed her.
It's undoubtedly inappropriate that Qantas thought that Hannah should have to face the alleged assailant in this case. All the literature tells us that facing your abuser when you are the victim is not appropriate.
Ultimately, you left.
Yeah.
Why?
I think in the end, I just couldn't go there every day and represent something that I didn't believe in.
Is Qantas liable in a case like this because of how they have handled it?
So a big business like Qantas and any small business just the same can be liable for actions of its employees. And really here where they failed, Hannah, is how they've dealt with it afterwards.
The Sex Discrimination Act states very clearly that sexual harassment at work is illegal. Now, this includes things like unwelcome touching, suggestive comments and sexually explicit physical contact. Now, the Act also makes it absolutely clear that employers can be held responsible for sexual harassment carried out by their staff.
What had happened to me had happened and I couldn't change that. And maybe we never will be able to change that, how people conduct themselves. But my thing that I want to fight for is the reporting process, how we get these people to answer to what they've done.
Qantas declined the project's request for an interview. Instead, they explained in a statement that while Hannah's manager had behaved in an unacceptable way, they'd offered various forms of support.
These big organisations are great at having these policies, but it really is about the execution of these policies, and unfortunately that's when failures occur. It really fosters this culture of apathy in relation to these complaints.
And it's not just Qantas. Will Barsby says in the last 6 months, Shine lawyers have received around 45 sexual harassment cases from within the aviation industry.
People are scared. When I had grown ladies on the phone, older than my mum, that have worked in the industry for 30, 40 plus years, hysterical, going, this one grabbed me by the throat and threw me against the elevator on an overnight and started sexually groping her. This is the same one that done this to me.
So you're aware of other allegations against this same man?
I can't even tell you. My phone was ringing and messages, like, for the weeks and months afterwards, 2, 3 a week. It wasn't just him. This is rampant. I got a list that long of women who have come to me since it happened saying, this one did this, and all ages.
Since resigning from Qantas, Hannah's decided to leave the airline industry altogether.
He still works there. Did he win?
He hasn't won because he has to live with himself every single day. I can live with myself knowing I haven't done anything wrong. In fact, I'm trying to change things in some way. So in a way, kind of thanks, because you've given me the platform to be able to pave the way for everyone else. Maybe they'll feel like they can come forward and they won't feel scared. And then by the time my kids go to work, my little girl or boy will be safe from this type of behaviour. Or if they're not, they'll have the tools to be able to report it properly and get justice.
So, as you heard there, Qantas didn't speak to us for that story, but we have received a statement from Qantas, which you can read in full on our website. And if you or anyone you know is in need of help, please contact the National Helpline. That's 1800-RESPECT.